personality, identity, and behavior. Continuing from our last video on reciprocal influence, we go on to discuss personality, identity, and behavior. Personality. We have many common sense notions about who we are, as defined by our personalities. In fact, we tend to use labels and pigeonhole ourselves and others into categories. In fact, many psychologists have devised theories of how we can group and classify people into different personality types. People have changed completely in their ideas, thoughts, and behaviors after having serious accidents or illness. How many people have been in long-term relationships only to discover they are no longer on the same wavelength as their partner? The truth is that our personality, as we see it, is not just an individual preference of how to be, but it is also influenced by our environment. Many serious, controlling, authoritative people at work can go home to be lighthearted, liberal, loving, and caring people with their families, or it can happen vice versa. Personality changes very quickly, depending on people's moods, their environment, life chances, and even alcohol. Thus, if personality is so flexible and different in social contexts, how can it be used to define who we are? Core concepts of influence can be more stable. Are we influenced by morality, a sense of fair play, or selfishness, or the media prejudice? Both good and bad? Not everyone will do what they say or think they would like to do. Our actions and behaviors are more reliable indicators of who we are, and change at slower speeds than personality. In fact, some actions and behaviors, habits, become so ingrained into our personal makeup that they are very difficult to change, and so this leads us to actions and behavior. Have you noticed that you can recognize people through a crowded room or a busy city center almost instinctively? You can recognize people by height, weight, clothes style, but it is the way they stand and walk or sit. It's the sound of a voice, a laugh, a cry, or even a familiar smell or fragrance that alerts you to their presence. These kinds of behaviors or actions rarely change to any great degree over long periods of time. In essence, there are three types of actions that we can adopt at any one time. In any social situation, we can conform others, or be conformed by others, or we can synthesize with others and find a middle ground. We can be excluded by others, or exclude others, thus conform, synthesize, or exclude. However, any one of us can conform, synthesize, or exclude depending on our situation, regardless of any concept of personality. Thus, successful people are people who create success through either accident or design by adopting the relevant behavior at the time, whether this be in a personal or business life situation. Parents and children can understand this concept very well, because all children know that just because mom or dad says no at the time when they ask, they can retreat and ask again when the situation has changed. An irate parent can say no in anger when the agenda is emotional, and say yes when they have calmed down and had time to think and act differently. In the same sense, a child may not accept a no when they are emotional, but will understand the relevance of a no when they have calmed down and become more rational, and are using logic to base their actions, and not emotion. Thus, personality and actions, behaviors and attributes, are not as individual specific as we would like to think, as they are mediated through our social situations and present mindset. They continue to change, and so it is how we see things. Perception. So if social situations and the people in our social environment mediate our actions and behavior, why is it that two individuals can respond in different ways to the same social situation? You would think that it is only common sense to expect that there must be something that makes us individuals. And if it is not personality, then what is it? Well, how we perceive others, and ourselves, also has a great deal to do with how we behave. Our actions and behavior are constantly influenced by our perception of the world and ourselves as we understand it. However, our perception of the world is also changing and growing as we learn more about the world we live in. Continuity and change is the basis of everything social and everything psychological. So if this is the case, how can we truly know ourselves and who we are? So we need to look at identity. Perhaps then it is our identity and how we identify ourselves that is the true measurement of who we are. However, how we identify ourselves also works on perception and how we perceive others and ourselves. This can change in an instant. We can change our name, the way we dress, our jobs, career. We can be married or single. We can change everything that we use as a basis to identify ourselves, or even have it changed for us. We could be racist, sexist, harsh, uneducated, and through time and education become more liberal in our beliefs, values, and understanding, changing the way we identify ourselves in the process. Whole countries of people have changed from identifying themselves as democratic, communist, or fascist, and etc. overnight. Football supporters can change their identity as a supporter of one team to another, and an engineer can change his identity to that of a cook. Smokers can change their identity to non-smokers and vice versa. So what is constant in our lives, is what I shall be discussing in our next video on personal power. So I hope you come to watch. Thanks for watching and listening to this video. I hope it helps you. Let me know.